and I'm your host, kind of Thick Karen, and I had to get away from this ruckus. Oh, the ruckus out there is pretty horrible. I don't like it, and most importantly, it's too much. And if I were to give a scale of 1 to 10, it would be a 9. Yeah, it's that bad. But most importantly, I can't go to Nimbus 3, and the VOD War are pretty much strong. The strong opponents to knock your officers to the ground, but it would have been a perfect for a build video, but most likely they're non-stop, and it's pretty bad. But most likely we're going to be we're going to be talking about healing officers, which you gotta go. Healing officers. And, of course, what healing officers are about, and stuff like that. So, let's get to it, shall we? So, I only have one healing officer. I have one healing officer currently active. The other one is kind of under construction, if you will. But, of course, her name is Mavis, and I'm not going to spell her last name because I'm not going to try to even pronounce her last name because it's kind of complicated to pronounce one's last name. Well, my last name isn't complicated if you try to say it like 3 times, but you get a point and you get my drift. It's hard to put last names, especially if they're Mexican. No offense intended. But I try to remember like 13 last names. But point is, here's the one that's currently complete, and I believe this one is currently under construction as of today. But of course, with this one, of course, she's a Crenum science officer, and her skills are right here. So of course she has, I believe it's temporal applied science, which is to reduce some science cooldowns, which most of her stuff is science. And her, I believe it's superior creativity, which involves the kit performance. And she's a ranged soldier, which means that you can equip her with a rifle, and she has increased chance, increased severity. If I'm being honest, and I kind of forgot to change these. I'm sorry, because Norm like trying to say I'm trying to change. It's like I'm trying to fix these, but they don't want to be fixed. Like, no, seriously, they don't want to be fixed, and it sucks. And I'm tired of fixing these. Like, these are really getting on my nerves. Like, if nerves were a thing, they're jumping all over it. Anyways, so yes. Of course, she's a chief medical officer, and one thing I realized what was missing is that a chief medical officer was not in this, not in the roster. And also, of course, while brainstorming this at work, which is where normally most of my brainstorming comes from, of course, Redo of Healer decided to pop up and say hello, which is pretty bad because, well, I'm gonna just say, in my opinion, it's probably one of the worst animes, and I hate to say it, but I feel like I've been tricked. And, the worst part is I still kept trying to watch it, thinking like, okay, maybe it's just one time and never again, and no, not really. And it kind of sucks, and it threw me off too. So, it really did. It's pretty much the worst anime I could think of right now. But, point is, it's this plot about this one guy. Of course, he goes back in time and stuff, and kind of screws everybody in a sexual, horrible way, and it's pretty bad, and it's traumatizing. Normally, should have belonged in the hentai category, but of course, if it wasn't for that, I would not be the man I would be today, which is ironic, but something else. But anyways, back to the main topic before, we go off track. But, of course, we have the Hypo Spray, I believe is the Dialovine. Of course, it removes all your debuffs and gives you some physical damage and some maximum hit points for 30 seconds. That's a lot for 30 seconds, in my case. Now I'm talking about the physical damage. Of course, the hit points is something else. Hit points is the same thing as health. So, I wouldn't say don't get those two mixed up. They're the same thing, just different words. Alright, so Vascular Regenerator, of course it gives you some more hit points for 10 seconds, and it removes all expose and bleed. Now, bleed is something, it's like a damage over time. Damage over, and it's pretty much like, okay, if somebody were to like, I can't really name any enemies who do bleed, but I think it's maybe the Terrans. Maybe the Terrans do bleed damage, but say for instance, if you were to have that effect, you pretty much have some damage over time, your health would pretty much keep dropping, and, you know, you die. Well, knocked to the floor, I could say, but die is a pretty good expectation to, you know, you're knocked to the floor and stuff, you're unconscious. But, of course, moving on, we have Medical Tricorder, which has a lot of hit points, and removes all expose effects, and puts some damage resistance for 4 seconds. Now, 4 seconds of damage resistance is a lot, but, of course, I feel like it's supposed to heal you and stuff like that, and it does, because the shit amount of hit points it gives, and it removes all expose effects and stuff like that, prevents you from being exposed. Sorry. I'm having a really bad day, and it's gray outside. But moving forward, I say it's pretty much of a quick heal, as it said in the description. But it's a quick heal, and shit like that. It's a quick heal that you need to It's a quick heal. In case you need like a quick heal, it's right there. And the last one we have Night Health Monitor, which isn't bad. It gives, of course, any ally that drops below 75% health will receive some hit points, some damage resistance rating, it removes all expose effect, and it has 3 charges. So, of course, you can actually use this how many ever times you like. I mean, I'm not a science officer and stuff like that, but if I were to be, which I have a level 65 Delta recruit who is a science character, of course I could put this on there and, you know, it'll be good. Now, I can't really give a proper demonstration of it, in the fact that I've done a lot of testing on a number of ground maps. The Nimbus 3, officers can't not literally die, which is pretty sad. But there are other ones that you could pretty much, you know, get smacked in the face. But of course, it has like 2 officers and stuff like that, and that's not something I'm looking for. I'm looking for a full squad of 4, a map with a full squad of 4, and a level 65 map. And so far, they gave me this crap. They gave me this stuff, which is not what I'm asking for. So, pretty much, that's all you need to know about CMOs, which is like combat medics, in my opinion. But, of course, if you want to treat them as chief medical officers, you can. But I only would bring them out in specific missions and stuff. If your characters are really that weak, then I recommend you bring a CMO with you. Bring a chief medical officer with you. Now, I'm going to tell you this. It's going to be a problem if your chief medical officer is down. That's a problem. Because not only you won't be able to get any heals or any debuffs removed, but it's going to be a pain. It's going to be a pain to keep your teammates alive. And it's going to suck. Now, as I said, I can't give proper testing because most likely the brown battle zone is too crowded, and for some reason it sucks. The BOFFS battle zone is way too hectic out there, and with the BOFFS event going on, you can't really get a point in. Like you literally can't. Like, if you were to go down there, I bet the BOFFS battle zone is already resetting itself again. And for some reason, every time I beam down there, it resets. And it sucks. Because, you know, if I need to go there to get a quick point, then no, I can't. But I will say this, just bring them in just bring them when, you know, if you're pretty weak starting out, or for say, you know, if the situation demands it. That's the best way to put it. If the situation demands it, I recommend that's when you do it. That's when you bring them out. 9 times out of 10, people don't really use heals. People really use bridge officers for, for just getting stuff out the way and, getting endeavors out the way. Like if you were to do phaser damage on the ground, you pretty much bring your phaser crew. If you pretty much if you need to do polaron damage, you pretty much want to bring your polaron crew and stuff like that. Or if you need a quick, if you need a quick event run, which I'm going to be doing later on, like what our lords are for, what our inquisitors are for. If you need like a quick run, and I pretty much explain this because I'm not gonna make another video of it, but I pretty much might make one in the future because I have a lot of lords, I have a lot of grand moffs, I have a lot of not these guys, but I have a director, and I have well, that's my first officer, but of course that's an admiral. But of course I have she, and I have an inquisitor, and I pretty much have, yeah, I have a lot of lords and a marshal. But of course, that's pretty much what high-ranking officers and also elite troopers are for. I pretty much have these guys as like most people don't know that I have like these guys for a reason. Like I really do have these guys for a reason, and I don't expect you guys to believe me at all. And I rarely bring them out in the first place. Like in the series as a whole, I don't really bring them anywhere. But I'm gonna just say that it's a lot of category and a lot of organizing, and I'm a very organized person. But other than that, I believe that concludes this video for bridge officers. Well, not really entirely, but that includes the medical part of the bridge officers. So of course I'm gonna have a section where there's like, certain bridge officers, certain things, people, and stuff like that, which will pretty much be breaking down on what they are and what they're for. So, and also I have managed to try to remake my channel and try to, reorganize everything a little bit. Of course, it's still in the works, still in progress, because, college is a pain and stuff like that. So, be on the lookout for those sometime soon. Alright, so I believe that concludes this video. If you want to like, share, and subscribe to the video, that'll be very helpful. YouTube stuff. But, of course, I am your host, Kakate Karen, and I will see you later. Goodbye.